What if I told you that not everything that leaves your life has been taken from you? That sometimes what you feel as absence is not loss at all, but the quiet closing of a door that was always meant to close. There is a difference, a profound and often overlooked difference, between something disappearing and something being complete. And maybe you have spent years mourning things that were never meant to stay, holding on to chapters that had already written their last line, carrying the weight of endings as though they were failures when in truth they were simply finishings. Maybe the ache you feel is not because you lost something, but because you have not yet learned to recognize completion. We live in a world that teaches us to cling, to hold on, to fight for what we have, to never let go, to see every ending as a kind of defeat. We are told that permanence is the measure of value, that if something ends it must mean it was not good enough, strong enough, real enough. And so we carry this belief deep in our bodies, this idea that love should last forever, that friendship should never fade, that the self we were 5 years ago should still be the self we are today. We treat change as betrayal. We treat completion as abandonment. And in doing so, we lose the ability to see the truth of what is actually happening in our lives. Because some things are not meant to last. Some things are meant to arrive, to teach, to shape, to open something inside you, and then to leave. Not because they failed, not because you failed, but because their role was complete. The relationship that once gave you everything you needed, that held you through a season of becoming, may no longer fit the person you have grown into. And that does not make it less real. It does not make it a mistake. It makes it finished. The version of yourself that you used to be, the one who needed certain things, believed certain things, feared certain things, that version may no longer exist. And the grief you feel is not for something you lost. It is for something you completed. Carl Jung spoke often about the process of individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming who you truly are. And embedded in that process is the necessity of letting go, not as a violent rupture, but as a natural shedding. Like a tree losing its leaves in autumn, the tree does not mourn. It does not cling to what is no longer alive. It allows the cycle to complete, and in that completion, it prepares for what comes next. But we humans, we resist this. We hold onto the dead leaves. We tape them back onto the branches and wonder why we feel so heavy, so tired, so unable to grow. You may have felt this in your own life. The friend you once told everything to, the one who knew you better than anyone. And then slowly, almost imperceptibly, the conversations became lighter, less frequent, until one day you realized you had not spoken in months. And there was no fight, no dramatic ending, just a quiet drifting. And you might have felt guilt. You might have felt sadness. You might have wondered if you did something wrong, if you should reach out, if you should try harder to keep it alive. But what if nothing was wrong? What if that friendship had given you exactly what it was meant to give, and now it was complete? What if the love you shared was real and true, and also finished? This is not easy to accept, because we are taught to measure the value of something by how long it lasts. A marriage that ends is called failed, even if it held years of growth and love and transformation. A career that you leave is seen as a loss, even if it taught you everything you needed to know. A version of yourself that you outgrow is mourned as though you have lost something precious, when in fact you have gained the ability to become more whole. We do not have the language for completion. We only have the language for loss. And so we grieve things that are not dead. We ache for things that are simply done. Jung also spoke about the shadow, the parts of ourselves we hide or deny. And one shadow many of us carry is the shadow of impermanence. We cannot bear the idea that things end. We cannot accept that life is made of cycles, of beginnings and middles and endings. And so we push against it. We hold on past the point of aliveness. We stay in relationships that have run their course. We cling to identities that no longer fit. We keep ourselves small and stuck because we are terrified of what it means to let something be complete. We are terrified that if we let go, we will be left with nothing. But the opposite is true. When we refuse to let go, we are left with nothing but the weight of what is already gone. There's a kind of exhaustion that comes from this, a deep, bone-level tiredness that no amount of sleep can touch. It is the exhaustion of carrying things that are not yours to carry anymore. The exhaustion of pretending that something is still alive when it is already finished. The exhaustion of performing a version of yourself that you have already outgrown. And if you feel this exhaustion, if you recognize in your body right now, then maybe what you need is not more effort, not more trying, not more holding on. Maybe what you need is permission. Permission to let things be complete. This does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become cold or indifferent or detached. It means you begin to trust the natural rhythms of life. You begin to trust that not everything is meant to stay, that some people come into your life for a reason, and when that reason is fulfilled, they leave. Not because they stopped loving you, not because you were not enough, but because the story you were writing together reached its final page. And there is grace in that. There's wholeness in that. There's a kind of love that can only be felt when you stop trying to force something to be what it is no longer meant to be. Think about the relationships in your life, not just romantic ones, but all of them. Friendships, colleagues, family members, teachers, mentors. How many of them have changed shape over the years? How many have faded, not because of conflict, but because of completion? And how many times have you blamed yourself for that fading? How many times have you thought you should have tried harder, been better, been more available, more interesting, more something? But what if none of that is true? What if the fading was not a failure, but a natural ending? What if the space that opened up when they left was not emptiness, but room for something new? We are so afraid of space. We are so afraid of silence. We are so afraid of being alone with ourselves that we fill our lives with noise, with people, with distractions, with anything that keeps us from feeling the vastness of our own inner world. And when something ends, when someone leaves, when a chapter closes, we panic. We rush to fill the gap. We reach for the next thing, the next person, the next distraction. We do not allow ourselves to sit in the space of completion. We do not allow ourselves to feel what it means to be finished with something. And so we never fully move forward. We drag the past with us, undigested, unintegrated, unfinished, even though it has already ended. Jung believed that the unconscious holds everything we have not yet faced, everything we have not yet accepted. And if you have not accepted that certain things in your life are complete, then they live in your unconscious. They haunt you. They show up in your dreams, in your anxieties, in your patterns. You find yourself repeating the same dynamics, attracting the same kinds of people, feeling the same kinds of pain, because you have not yet allowed yourself to see that the original story is over. You're trying to rewrite an ending that has already been written. And no matter how hard you try, you cannot change what is complete. But here is the gift. When you finally stop fighting completion, when you finally allow something to be finished, you free an enormous amount of energy. Energy that was tied up in holding on, in resisting, in pretending. That energy returns to you. And with it comes clarity, comes peace, comes the ability to see your life as it actually is, not as you wish it were. You begin to see that the people who left were not abandoning you. They were honoring the completion of what you shared. You begin to see that the version of yourself you used to be was not better or worse than who you are now. It was simply earlier. You begin to see that your life is not a collection of losses. It is a series of completions, each one preparing you for the next stage of becoming. This is individuation. This is the process Jung described. It is not about becoming perfect. It is not about achieving some final state of enlightenment. It is about becoming more and more yourself. And that requires letting go of everything that is not you. Every This is the work. This is the deep, quiet, ongoing work of individuation. And it is not flashy. It is not dramatic. It does not look like success in the way the world measures success. It looks like a person who can let go without bitterness. A person who can say goodbye without resentment. A person who can look at their life and see the completions as gifts, not losses. A person who can sit in the space between what was and what will be without panic, without grasping, without filling the silence with noise. If you are this kind of person, or if you are becoming this kind of person, then you may feel